Watch this. I just filled out a lead intake form for a law firm. I'm hitting submit. They received an email with 3 booking options. I'm going to choose one of them. They're booked. Let's look at the calendar. You'll see that this lead is already booked. Nobody on the team touched it. For any business, the lead who hears back in a minute rather than in a day is the one that actually closes. I'm going to build this with you from scratch so you never lose another lead to a slow callback. And I'll flag the one step where most people's version quietly breaks. Okay, so this is a nice simple way to illustrate the 3 workflows before we actually build it out in N8N. So this first one is for a new lead where a person fills out an intake form. We're going to read the calendar and we're going to send them a Gmail which is going to have 3 book buttons, and each of them will have times and dates as to when you can book an appointment with the law firm, right? Now this is actually reading the calendar, picking out the slots, the empty slots that we have available, and giving the customer options to book. And then of course we're going to update the CRM. The second one is where the customer actually clicks the book link. It's going to then create an event in the calendar. It's going to update our CRM and send them, of course, an email with a confirmation and invite. And finally, the last one, it's going to run on a daily schedule. We're going to scan our CRM and we're going to check if the customer actually, or the client, potential client, actually booked with us or not. If they're not booked, we're going to send them nudges saying, hey, please book. We're going to do this for a total of 3 times. And then once they've booked and it's a day prior to the appointment, we're going to send them a reminder that they have an upcoming appointment. So now let's go ahead and build this. Alright, so I first wanted to show you my lead tracker sheet. This is a sheet that I built. This is going to serve as a CRM. It's got the ID, name, email, phone for potential customers, the submission date, the status, more importantly, whether it's a new lead versus a whole host of options that we have here. Then we have the booked column that has a true or false value, the time, the date, the nudge count, and whether a reminder has been sent. Now let's go over to Visual Studio Code. I have the prompt ready, and this is to build a workflow that a customer should receive an email with 3 potential options to book a time slot with the law firm. You can see I've shot this off and we'll let Claude Code do its magic. Alright, so it's going through the different nodes, creating them for us. Okay, it's generating the workflow JSON. Wonderful. So it's validated all 11 nodes that is created. It's given me the production webhook URL. And this is that endpoint that when you click or the customer clicks on book a particular time slot, that's the get endpoint for it. Perfect. So it looks like it's ready. Let's hop into N8N and see what it built. All right. So this is what we have in N8N. This is that workflow where we're clicking on the link, the email is parsing our request. It's finding the lead row in the CRM. It's actually going to create a calendar event once the customer clicks on book a particular time slot. It's going to then update our CRM, respond to the lead, write an email using an AI agent, and send it over in Gmail. So we're not actually going to test it right now because we have the other workflows that are pending. So let's go ahead and do that next. Okay, so this is going to be that second workflow, and what this one's going to do is when someone fills out a form, potential customer fills out the form for the law firm, it's going to respond to that lead immediately and then send them a confirmation email giving them those 3 booking options. And for that, what it's going to do is actually scan our calendar and try to see which 3 time slots we would have available during a weekday. And then it's gonna give those 3 options to the customer. Okay, so it's building out the different nodes for us. It's configuring each of them. Okay, it's generating the workflow now. All right, it's running the validation as well. It says it's a clean pass. It's giving me the entry point, which is the form URL that the customer will fill out. And there you go, it's complete. So now let's go ahead and look at our N8N workflow. Okay, so this is our second workflow. You will see there's a form link there for the customer to fill out. It's gonna then create the lead in the CRM, then prep the lead and craft the search window. So this node is gonna have details on how exactly to search your calendar. So, which I mentioned in the prompt, which is that, hey, look for only work days. We're gonna need whatever, a half an hour window that is empty, those kind of things, is then gonna read my calendar using that logic, find 3 open slots, use an AI agent to write the email, and then of course update the CRM. But we're still not done. We need to create one more workflow that is going to be the nudges and reminders workflow. So if a customer doesn't book or has booked and there's a day before his appointment comes up tomorrow, we need to build that workflow out. And then after those 3 are built, the entire system is ready, and then we can start testing it end to end. So let's look at that next. Okay, so I've just shot off the prompt for workflow number 3. This is the one, remember, that's going to send the nudges and reminders out. Let's see what Claude Code can build for us. All right, so the third and final end-to-end workflow is built. Let's head there and see what it looks like. So here it is. You'll see we have 2 triggers, one to test it manually and one that runs on a daily schedule. It's going to read our CRM, set a particular search window. And this is for if people got the email with the 3 options to book but never really book. So we're now trying to send them a separate email where we're again going to search for the next 3 business days and open time slots on our calendar. And then we have a nudge and reminder action builder over here. It's going to process 1 lead at a time. It's going to write the email, shoot it off, and this will be both a nudge email, email being the one where we're nudging someone to make a booking with us, and a reminder email being one where a day prior to the actual appointment, we're sending them that email saying, hey, you have an upcoming appointment. So this is what this workflow looks like. Now let's test all of the 3 workflows together. All right, so here I am filling out the form that Claude Code created for us. It's then going to trigger this workflow and is hopefully sent us an email after identifying which 3 open slots were there on my calendar, asking me to book a consultation for them. So what we did was fill out the lead form and this workflow was triggered. Let me now go ahead and look inside my Gmail to see the email we have. Okay, so here you go. This is the email I have. It says, planning ahead for your family's future is an important step and we appreciate you reaching out to Sterling's Law Group. And it's got a couple more sentences on what that could entail. And then it has these wonderful 3 buttons that is actually going to help the customer book this time slot with us. Okay, so you'll see my calendar is pretty empty at this point. And so it's picked up time slots from each of the next 3 business days. So 27th, 28th, and 29th. And you'll see those are for 9:30 a.m., 9 a.m., and 9 a.m. So let me go ahead and book this time Wednesday and then see which workflow is triggered and whether it actually creates an event for us. So first of all, in N8N, you'll see that this is the first workflow that we actually built today. And this is the one that has the booking link configured. And so when I click that button in the email, this workflow is the one that should be triggered. You'll see that this is published. Click this slot and see what happens. You'll see I'm confirmed for Wednesday at 9 a.m. And if I move to executions, you'll see that this has succeeded. Now let me go to the calendar and you'll see that the consultation with myself is booked for Wednesday at 9 a.m. Isn't this absolutely amazing? So to actually trigger that nudges and reminder workflow, let's take a look at our CRM first. So you'll see row number 14, which is the information that I just filled out. You'll see that the customer has been contacted. They have not yet booked. Okay, so I just changed this from true to false to test this nudge workflow out. I changed the submission date to 2 days prior, and then the nudge count at this point is nil. Right? And so this should be picked up by our third workflow, which is right here. And so I'm going to run it manually, and what this should do for us is it should send me an email saying, hey, we're still waiting for you to book a slot with us. So shut this off. You'll see it's writing the email, it's sending the email and update the CRM. Let's look at row number 14. You'll now see that the status has changed to nudge. The booked still stays false, of course, because I haven't booked. It's today's date. And the nudge count has now been updated to 1. Let's go take a look at that email. All right, so it says, we are still holding a time for you to reach out about getting your family's estate planning in order. So it's reading the form details as well one more time. We've kept some time open, and these are the 3 links that you have. Isn't that wonderful? And if I get closer to this date, which would be the 26th of July, and it's just 24 hours until that appointment, if I book this one, it's going to trigger the same workflow because this is going to run every day at 9 a.m. and it's going to send me a reminder email. So this is the whole system. We started off with designing the first workflow where you click a form, your details are submitted, you get sent an email with 3 solid booking options. You click one of them, an automatic calendar invite is generated. And then if you haven't booked, it's going to send you a nudge to book with the law firm. Here's the part that separates a system people trust from one that embarrasses you. It's not the sending. Anyone can automate the sending. It's the stopping. The single most important field in this build is one column in the spreadsheet. Booked, true or false. The moment a lead books, that flag flips and every future nudge checks it before it's fired. Skip that one check and here's what happens. A client books a consultation, feels great about you, and the next morning your friendly reminder asks them to book again. Now they think nobody's paying attention. In a business that's built on trust, that's worse than being slow. So the rule I follow with anything that talks to clients is simple. Before you teach it to act, teach it when to. So that's the whole build. A lead fills out a form and a minute later they're booked on your calendar with 0 human effort, and it stops nudging them the moment they book. You've built a system that treats every new lead like it's the only one that matters. If a slow callback costs your business real money, this is the build to copy. Subscribe if you want more builds like these. I take a real business problem and build the automation for it, start to finish, every week.